Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Senior Minister and Parliamentary Representative, Cottage Constituency the Honorable Reginald Austrie, Minister of Tourism, International Transport and Maritime Initiatives, and incoming Chair of the OECS Council of Ministers of Tourism, the Honorable Denise Charles, outgoing Chairman of the Council, Honorable Charles Max Fernandez, Honorable Ministers, invited dignitaries and tourism stakeholders, Director of Economic Affairs and Regional Integration, Mrs. Jacqueline Emmanuel Flood, and OECS colleagues, media. I would like to begin by expressing thanks and appreciation to the outgoing chairman, the Honorable Charles Max Fernandez, for his chairmanship through the exceedingly difficult period of the pandemic. We can never forget 2020 as the year of our worst tourism nightmare. During his tenure, he chaired several meetings and joint tourism and health ministerial meetings, even while battling his own national priorities. No easy task, considering that in the OECS and globally, Antigua and Barbuda is ranked as the number 3 top tourism-dependent economy in the world. We also express our gratitude to the host member, the Commonwealth of Dominica, for its hospitality as the enthusiastic venue for the first in-person OECS ministerial meeting since the pandemic. We applaud this demonstration of the strong commitment by the incoming chair, the Honorable Denise Charles, one of the newer OECS tourism ministers, to intra-regional travel and the restart of events. Congratulations are also in order to the Commonwealth of Dominica for its new tourism brand launched earlier this year, Dominica the Nature Isle, bringing a fresh, bold look to the indomitable Nature Isle. Honorable Ministers, there is no need for me to repeat the litany of pain that we all experience in every sector, especially the tourism sector during the pandemic. What is important here is to emphasize the urgency and the critical importance of us extracting the lessons learned from this and utilizing it to shape the future. The new OECS Sexennial 6-year strategic plan identifies 5 critical and interrelated strategic priorities, which are the following. 1, accelerate regional integration. And in the context of tourism, this means creating an enabling environment for tourism development across the footprint of the OECS. 2, reinventing the economy. In the context of tourism, transforming tourism, undertaking tourism enhancement initiatives. 3, valuing the environment, a matter of perennial debate and important to us because of the intrinsic link between tourism and the environment. 4, building resilience. And 5, advancing equity and inclusion. In the actualization of these priorities, there are several broader, current and continuing initiatives that potentially support the development of tourism. They include the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, funded by the World Bank and managed between the OECS and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, to accelerate digital transformation by increasing access to digital services, technologies, and skills by governments, businesses, and individuals. The OECS Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Policy Framework that seeks to consolidate the functioning and viability of the MSME sector for the following reasons. As it is a substantial contributor to economic development in our region. MSMEs are the core of the tourism supply chain. They are the tourism service providers that enhance tourism experiences, and they make a significant contribution in delivering more authentic tourism product offerings. The informal sector also plays a significant role for women working in tourism, example, market and street vendors. The mandates of the OECS have always encouraged collaboration, both internally between divisions and externally with other national, regional, and international organizations. However, the last 2 years have forced us to develop a more strategic approach to collaboration because we have come to the stark realization that A, if our problems are interrelated, the solutions must be integrated. And B, that no sector, however well-resourced and managed, can succeed if we do not engage all sectors and stakeholders in a whole-of-society approach. From the inception of the pandemic, the OECS worked with regional agencies, notably CAFA, CHTA, and CTO, to restore travelers' confidence in the Eastern Caribbean. The OECS formalized its collaboration with CAFA in support of the implementation of the Tourism and Health Program through the signing of a letter of agreement. And we thank CAFA for this very, very important initiative. We continue to collaborate with other regional agencies such as ECCB and CARICOM towards common tourism policies and positions in the tourism recovery. Further synergies were explored through OECS contributions to other regional agencies' forums, including, for example, the UNDP Future Tourism Regional Dialogue on Sustainable Solutions in June 2021, and the Association of Caribbean States Strategic Regional Partner Agencies in Tourism meeting in July 2021. These deliberations, among others, confirmed the OECS position on support for tourism, MSMEs, and commitment to strengthening of the local ecosystem through digital transformation and the diversification of the tourism product offering. 2 other milestones. During the latter half of 2021, the OECS Commission signed 2 milestone commitments. The first was the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Change in Tourism, launched at COP26 in Scotland. A substantive agenda item on this is before this ministerial meeting. The second is an MOU with the UNWTO for enhanced cooperation with a view to support the development of a more inclusive, more sustainable, and more resilient tourism industry in the region. Specific activities include measuring the impact of tourism and support for tourism MSMEs. This meeting of the Council of Ministers of Tourism is our first, as said earlier, face-to-face encounter of minds and will. And there are 3 major substantive matters for consideration and input by ministers. The 11th EDF Right Tourism Enhancement Program. With support from the 11th EDF Right Program, advances have been made on the Enhanced Tourism Competitiveness Initiatives, which has as its overall objective to diversify and enhance the tourism product. There are 3 components that fall under this project: community-based tourism, historic tourism, and niche tourism marketing. Ministers are expected to receive a full account of the work to date and to commit to initiatives that will help us to strengthen national tourism products by creating regional synergies, by widening the economic inclusion of the sector, and to make the OECS a real example of multi-destination magnetism. The Glasgow Declaration on Climate Change is the second of these. This was signed by the OECS just ahead of COP26. The Glasgow Declaration's objective is to raise the climate ambition of tourism stakeholders and secure strong actions to support the global commitment to have emissions by 2030 reach net zero as soon as possible, before 2050. The OECS signed on to the Glasgow Declaration as it conforms to all of the principles and the ambitions that our member states championed at COP26, and declaring our commitment, hopefully, will open some doors to needed climate funds and sustainable investment in the tourism sector, for example in energy, infrastructure, waste management, etc. And tourism ministers will receive an update from the OECS and some considerations on a phased approach to advance the fulfillment of the obligations under the Glasgow Declaration for Climate Change in tourism. The other burning issue is intra-regional travel and transportation. Connectivity is a major issue impacting intra-regional travel and transport. There are challenges that exist both in maritime and aviation. Ongoing dialogue and collaboration with other regional agencies, including CARICOM, ECCB, and the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and international organizations such as IATA, will be critical in addressing the concerns of interconnectivity within the region. There is an urgency not simply to restore connectivity in the OECS and the wider Caribbean, but to do so in a manner that is truly transformational. Whatever solutions we put in place in that arena must be greener, more reliable, less costly, more regular, and dependable. The coming period will require more frequent exchange and discussion at official and ministerial levels if we are to collectively crest the recurring waves of catastrophe and emerge stronger and more secure. So we look to you, Honourable Ministers, for the political will and the determination of vision that will create a tourism industry that is world-class, more integrated with other sectors of opportunity, more resilient and sustainable. I thank you.